Morning. All right. Pop out. There we go. Sounds like something from Pokemon. Oh my gosh. Oh my god, is that the fart gun guy? Listen here, you dork. I bet you're a fart gun. Just firing right away. Pew 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 pew. R4R hit a certain donation goal. Did it now? What do you mean I'm not familiar with Pokemon? I got Pokemon Gold on Christmas one year. When it came out. What's your first generation, Hoenn? Because I played 1 and 2. I didn't play the Game Boy Advance ones till I got to college. You're gonna have to wait a little bit longer. Moku 1020. Played them all at this point. Okay, when Gen 1 Pokemon came out, that was just so incredibly fun that you didn't realize how broken that game was. But Gen 1 was just like amazing at the time. It still is. But when it first came out, it was like, wow, this is incredible. I don't even realize I'm playing an RPG. Just want to get another like Pidgeotto or whatever. A Pidgeot. Piggy. Gen 9. What gen are we on right now? Are we on Gen 9? I mean, I got the Sword and Shield one, but I was just like, yeah, this isn't for me. Giant Pokemon, I don't need this. Gigamax or whatever. But no, this isn't Pokemon. This is not Pokemon. Legend ZA? You should make a podcast then. Just turn your webcam on, start talking. Eventually people will start listening. Unless they don't. If they don't, who cares? Losers anyways. Missing out on content. I have received, or I guess we have received, 2 Christmas cards from Splatoon folks. We here at the Popgun household. I won't say what Splatoon folks have sent us Christmas card stuff. And I won't say how many of you know where my address is. I guess there is a decent number of Splatoon folks that know my home address. Which doesn't, like, none of you scare me. Like, if any of you go crazy and you show up at my house, I'm not scared of you guys. You wimps. But I forget that Christmas cards are even a thing until Christmas, or because we don't do it. We don't, like, take pictures of us and send it to other people. Like, here's what we're looking like. And we don't really, I mean, it's nice to get those. But I don't hold on to, it's the idea to, like, hold on to them and see, like, how this person's family has progressed each year. We haven't done that. And it's mostly, you know, we get a bunch of cards from, like, our friends and family too. But we never send them one back. Maybe we should change that. Can I commission one of you to make a Christmas card for me? For my family? Next year? You don't know sending people Christmas cards is a thing? Yes, you called me Fart Gun, you little dork. You're not getting any commissions from me. You burn that bridge, frame 1. You don't have to do anything. I guess it's just a tradition or something. I mean, we used to get like the Hallmark cards back in the day when I was a kid, but now, like, people my age are sending each other Christmas cards that aren't like actual, like, Charlie Brown, I hope you have a Merry Kickmas or something like that. It's like the actual family photo stuff that you send to other people. I'm going to bring a ton of cards. Is there any lands near the holidays? That seems like a bad time to host a LAN. Just with people needing to travel elsewhere in that month. I mean, I know there's no, like, Splatoon. There might be a local or something. You got a Christmas card today? Well, here's what you do, Epic Pikachu. You get a little shoebox that you throw up in one of your closets, and you just start stashing cards in there. And then when you, like, become old, you can pull them out and look at these memories, you know, and then die, I guess, after reminiscing. A week before Thanksgiving? Well, that's a little bit different than the hustle and bustle and stress that comes with Christmas. Now, I guess locals work out because they're appealing to local people, not just like... Maybe Big Dapple is the exception. Maybe Big Dapple does have more of a draw of people outside of the New York, New Jersey area. I could be wrong. I ain't never been to Big Dapple. Hello, friends, and welcome back to the Popcast. Whenever you're listening to this, whether it be live or a VOD, Twitch or YouTube, while you are reposting every retirement post from other players onto Blue Sky, finding yourself rooting for Milky Way to defeat Fo, trying to cram in commentary gigs to close out the year in hopes on being on the breakout commentator ballot for the Popcast Awards in 2 weeks. Whatever it is that you're doing right now, appreciate you taking the time out of your day to listen to this. Unless I don't. What a weekend, huh? Did you guys have a good weekend? Of course you are. Why else would you be here? I love the whole atmosphere that goes on whenever there's a big Overlord event taking place. Whenever the old like PAX West events were going on, you could just log on to social media, Twitter, Blue Sky, whatever your preference is, and you can just put out a post like, whoa, that was crazy, and everyone knows what you're talking about. You know, it's cool. It feels like we're all watching an event together, and we could all just like talk to each other at the same time, like we're actually in the venue whenever there's a major Overlord event going on, and everyone knows we're watching at the same time. And you don't even need to provide context with the things you're tweeting or posting because everybody knows what you're referring to live in the moment. And it makes it so much more enjoyable to just sit to like watch on the main screen and just have like your social media up and just talk to everybody. Like, did you just see that play? That was crazy. Did you see Shadow's hammer throw? That was unbelievable. It was a lot of fun. A lot of fun this past weekend. News of tournaments that may be of interest to the casual listener of the Popcast. Look, the theme of today at some point is going to be that maybe we need to stop playing tournaments for a few weeks. Maybe this is a good time for everybody to just... But there is a charity tournament going on Saturday. You guys can't play in it unless you've already signed up previously and been drafted into it. It's Raise for Rices. Man, 9 pronounced it so weird, and there's no way I got that right. But it's a charity tournament that has up to 38 teams playing it. It's made up of TOs, commentators, and I guess like other personalities within the community. And there was a draft last Saturday for it that is going to be streamed on IPL. It is a money to raise. It is a charity to raise money for, I believe, helping families. Actually, I haven't looked up the exact thing, so I shouldn't just like say something and be like completely wrong with that. I do know this, that one of the prize donations, or one of the donation goals was for me to wear a wig on an episode of the Popcast. And I think it was $750 was the goal, and that got reached like immediately. So I'm going to be wearing a wig on the next episode of the Popcast, which is not going to be next week. There's not going to be a Popcast next week during Christmas. Instead, we're going to do one more episode this year, the week after Christmas, which of course is going to be the annual Popcast Awards, where I will start putting out stuff next week. I forget what all the categories are, but it's something we've been doing since 2020. And for whatever reason, you guys like it, so we just keep doing it. It's a free episode. Like Commentator of the Year, Breakout Commentator of the Year, Captain of the Year, Worst Pickup Team Name of the Year. Usually a lot of candidates for that one. All that good stuff. We'll start putting some stuff out on Blue Sky exclusively. So no Popcast next week, but there will be a Popcast the week after. Today we're going to be recapping Low Ink, your favorite tournament and mine as well. Everything that went on this past weekend with Low Ink. We're not going to have time to take anybody's calls. This would be a good episode to take your guys' calls and get your feedback on all the stuff that went on this weekend. But I'm trying to be diligent about getting these things done in just 1 hour so that I can go watch Giganto with my son for another hour, or Finding Nemo for the 200th gazillionth time. You would think PJ would know where Nemo is at this point, but no, he doesn't. All that and more. But first, the overall vibe of the Splatoon 3 North American League playoffs was awesome. I love the professional broadcast of everything, how they were able to have people in the studio. I guess they did that week 1 of the preseason as well. Just like at a studio, everybody at a desk, commentators talking to each other. None of this webcam, looking into this webcam, nodding your head for 6 hours. No, like it was an actual professional broadcast, which was cool to see. And it's nice to see some new faces mixed into there. Obviously, if you are in the competitive scene, you know who Falco and Lily are. They're not new faces, but new faces to these big Nintendo events. That's cool to see. And it was really nice to see those two in particular. Of course, with the usual suspects, Jordan 9, Zach and Mel Milana were there as well. But they've always been a part of these Overlord stuff. So it's cool to see new faces get mixed into the in-person events. And overall, we've been talking about this. This is a professional esport league that was run. Whenever somebody points out this format is crazy, and all these weeks that they're doing this, and they got to pause these matches. No, you can't play yet because we're going to stream you, and you can't start because we got to run commercials first. For us in the grassroots scene, we look at that and say, this is not how any of these other events work. But the pushback, or at least maybe not the pushback, but the counterpoint has always been, well, this is what a professional league would look like. Well, there's nothing that you saw this past weekend that would make you think of anything other than professional. This was an amazing broadcast and a cool way to watch this event. Except, of course, for the players who are all 100% amateurs. This professional league is all based around these amateur players, and you're just kind of hoping that nobody's burnt toaster Wi-Fi is just going to implode at any moment and just ruin the entire tournament for everybody. But no, it ended up working out. It was cool. And the players are key to all of the success of this. You can put anybody you want onto these Overlord streams, and you can do whatever kind of fancy production stuff you want to do. At the end of the day, everyone's tuning in to watch the players. That's what matters. You can run a random tournament with a scoreboard that was made in Microsoft Paint and have it on a channel that has 10 followers. If the right teams and the right players are playing in it, people will watch. But when you add in the production value, it takes it to a whole nother level. But it's always the players that are the product that you want to be watching here. And no team moves the needle more than the way that Moonlight does. They got the underdog aspect. The fact that their players are well known and have a personality. Of course, the Chara factor is mixed into that as well. Moonlight has transcended the competitive scene, and the casuals know who this team is. And the casuals will root for this team as well because they haven't won a major, and that makes them an easy, rootable underdog story. Everybody loves an underdog, especially when they're actually likable, when Moonlight is. And if you are Nintendo, there's no check you can write that's big enough to Moonlight to get them to come and play in your events to where you're not getting a return of an investment. Like, you need Moonlight playing in this league to make things work. Now, you need other teams as well to make up what makes Moonlight so interesting to watch and play. But you need Moonlight in there first. And then all the other pieces surrounding that. The more that they win, the more eyeballs will be tuned in to see what they do next. And give Moonlight credit. I have been pounding this narrative on this show for over a year now because it was true. Moonlight can beat anybody. What they can't do is beat multiple anybodies in the same weekend. Well, finally, they did just that. They beat multiple anybody's in the same weekend and beat them convincingly as well. Not, we're gonna come back to in a game 5 and then we're gonna find a way to squeak out a victory in game 5. They beat FT Win, which I believe is the first time they beat them since the summer. That one time they beat them in that Freedom Dive tournament, and we gave them all the credit in the world for that. The record with Moonlight and FT Win since then has not been pretty, but we still look back at that. Well, now they actually got a win against them, beat them 4-1, and then they followed that up immediately by beating Foe, a team that has been giving Moonlight's problems in the league, in the later half of the league, in the later weeks of the league. They beat them as well. Both those matches going into Moonlight's favor in just 4 games. They took care of business 6-2 against those two teams in particular. That's not Moonlight-like. As soon as I saw that they beat FT Win, and they beat FT Win during low ink, so I found out about it as soon as we went off air. Knox immediately said, "Oh my gosh, Moonlight beat FT Win." I was like, "Ooh, that's interesting." They're immediately going to lose because that's how these things work. But no, they flipped it into they parlayed that into a double win, knocking out Foe as well. Can we talk about that Clan Blitz game? Yes, it's my show. I can talk about whatever we want to talk about. That Clan Blitz game at Urchin Underpass is by far the most exciting individual game of the entire season, where it looks like when it gets into overtime and nobody scored, the first thing that pops in my mind was that mincemeat game between Starburst and Sayonara in that Overlord tournament that happened a week before the game even came out, where we all realized immediately that mincemeat clams is horrible because it's impossible for anybody to score. Well, now that we got the understanding now, okay, Urchin Underpass Clan Blitz is even worse. Like, why do you have to go through that wall just to get to the basket? Why is it so tucked away? It's ridiculous. And neither team were doing anything. They were just trading back and forth, like just pushing each other back and forth across mid. And you just see them get splats, and I'm just sitting there watching it like, who cares? Oh, this person got a double. Okay, who cares? That means they get to move like 2 feet across mid. Like, nobody's getting anywhere close to scoring. And then when you get to overtime, it's just, okay, let's just fire people into the basket and see if we can just get a jump off. I mean, you saw Foe doing it multiple times, just throwing Dat Kid in there, trying to get Zeke or 3Z to just, like, ultra stamp their way through there. Maybe we can get a super jump. Moonlight wasn't biting on that. And then Moonlight tried the same thing. And it's like, okay, nobody's going to score. Like, they're not even going to get close enough to get the jump off. And I still don't know how Moonlight was able to slip past and get that score there. And I was, as much as I was rooting for Moonlight, I was rooting more for Chaos. I wanted that game to end in a tie because I just wanted to see what was going to happen. It is, in all the years, there's been 7 years of low ink that has been run. Only once has we had a game end in a tie in Clan Blitz. And I think it was in the Splatoon 2 era. Actually, no, I think it was Splatoon 3. There is a built-in mechanic in the game, which was explained by Lily, essentially saying that whoever makes the most power clams is the team that wins in a tiebreaker scenario. How do you know? Here's the problem with that, though. How do you know both teams didn't make the same number of power clams? You don't. You'd have to go back and watch the VOD all over again. So to like verify that the game is legit, like telling you that, no, this team actually did make more power clams than the other, you got to watch the VOD back. And if you were to do that in tournament, you just wasted 20 minutes. And if you came to the conclusion that both teams made the same number of power clams, then what? And it's not just Clan Blitz that does stuff like this. It's the only mode where you could actually tie. I mean, to tie in any other mode would have to be both teams protesting. But if you were to go into a private battle today with just like one other person and you did turf war and you just both didn't fire the weapon at all, or you didn't pop the Rainmaker shield, or nobody touched the tower for 5 minutes, the game's not going to end in a tie. It's just going to end, and it's just going to give a victory, 1-0 victory to somebody. So that's what I wanted to see. I wanted to see if the game legit ended in a tie with that many people watching it live in playoffs of the Nintendo tournament. What were the Nintendo TOs going to do? Were they going to just say, yeah, the game said Fo wins, so we're just going to give them the win 1-0? Or are they going to make them replay it? Because I feel like that's, I as a TO, I don't like the idea of just being like, yeah, they made more power clams, you get the win. But you also already wasted 8 minutes of tournament time. So I just wanted it to end in a tie because I just wanted to see how the Nintendo TOs were going to react. And they got lucky. I think there was 22 seconds left in overtime. And if Moonlight doesn't score there, it's a tie. There was no way. I don't even think they had a power clam, but there was no way Fo was going to cross that much space. And whoever got splatted on the jump in on Moonlight was going to be back there to defend it in time. Anyway, so if Moonlight doesn't score there, it ends in a tie. And we're so close. Moonlight had to ruin everything. What a joke. Milky Way won, which is a surprise to nobody. They're just playing at their best right now. They peaked at the right time. You looked at what they did in Super Jump where they almost beat the unstoppable PXG if it wasn't for just a few frames that Jordan was able to get onto the tower. If that doesn't happen, Milky Way wins Super Jump. They beat PXG, who has been unbeatable since January. And we're talking, and they've been taking out teams in the league, especially in the last couple of weeks that they were playing in. They were just the best team without a doubt. I mean, we went into this one thinking like, okay, 5 could win, FT could win, Milky Way could win. But no, it became clear as the weeks were going on, okay, Milky Way is playing their best right now, and nobody's really going to be beating them. And if you're Moonlight, you're looking at that and saying like, yeah, you could probably VOD review that and think about, oh, if we did this one thing different, maybe we like flip the zone in game 1, or maybe we win game 3 here, or maybe we can ride the tower a little bit longer in game 4. And like, yeah, but you could also just tip your cap and say nobody was beating Milky Way that weekend. It didn't matter what you were going to do. They were just better than everybody else, and they proved it. Them's the breaks. The best team without a doubt. It's just funny, though, Because social media was roaring whenever Moonlight squeaks out a victory in Rainmaker. Like social media just firing off, yay! Like they don't have to say, yay, I'm happy Moonlight won. They can just say yay, and everybody in Splatoon knows what they're yaying about. Versus whenever Milky Way was winning, it was like a golf clap. Like, yeah, nicely done. Like at every major LAN, a Riptide or a Low Tide City that Moonlight was at. Yay, they win, yeah! The other team wins. Hey, yeah, nicely done. You won the tournament, cool. You got that kind of sense on social media last night as well. But what's next here? Let's start with the players. This is just of the few things I've seen. And I'm just following CKK on Blue Sky, who retweets everything. This is basically my news outlet is CKK's Blue Sky account. Keo said essentially retiring / stepping down for now, taking a hiatus essentially. So it might be the last time or might take another break. Sam, I believe, said they were done as well. So that's, and I'm not following like I haven't like done a deep dive like with Shaq and Hexen or Biscuit have been up to with their posts, but that's two key members of FT. Like you without Keo, there is no FT win. It doesn't matter what you're calling it, and without the Samurai, that's not the most scary roster that you have that you could be rolling out there if your FT wins. So it seems like that team is going to go back on the shelf again, at least for the time being. Jared has hinted at Milky Way disbanding. I haven't seen anything official as of yet, but Jared was kind of hinting at the fact that Milky Way would be disbanding after the league. I'm sure that's not like the first, hey, we won this, by the way, we're done altogether. Like, I'm sure if there is any kind of announcement with that, it'll be made later rather than sooner, because there's no need to like rush a decision like that. But I have seen that as well. Hershey is still banned from the vast majority of tournaments for excessive amounts of jackassery. I believe there's still like some tournaments on Sindo that allows them to play, but that hinders that team from doing pretty much anything unless they just want to get another Sniper Rider player, which I guess they have the option to do. That can't be too hard to find. Duck Motif has played in more tournaments this fall than I believe Duck Motif has played in their entire team's history combined altogether. I said Duck Motif went from being a team that they exist. That's right. I forgot about Duck Motif to a please stop playing the video game for 2 seconds. Go, please breathe, Duck Motif. It's not that serious. Bet seems re-energized, ready to go. Zero's been talking about, dude, I want the new league to start tomorrow. Like, I'm ready. Like, no, easy there, Bet. You guys were looking really good during Super Jump and, well, day one of the league as well. But Bet seems re-energized, ready to go. Gourmet Race, obviously an underwhelming playoffs. They weren't going to be favored in most of the matches they were playing in. You still would have liked to see them get a game or two, but as I pointed out earlier, Gourmet Race, in my opinion, the most improved team from week 1 to week 8, and have a foundation to build off of if they care to do such a thing. Now look, folks retiring and stepping away, that's always going to happen. I didn't know who Hexen was, and K-Bot gave me some crap for it, and 9 gave me the raised eyebrows for it. But there's going to be a point where Sam comes back, and there's going to be like half the people in my chat going to be like, who's Sam? It's like, well, how did you not remember this one time, this like stint of FT1? How do you not know the history of everything? So there's going to be people coming and going all the time. The Splatoon train does not stop. Nothing is stopping this train. And it's fine for people to hop off the train as new people jump back onto it. Eventually, I'm going to be doing the same thing. Like, I can't be doing whatever this is into my 40s, right? There has to be an age limit where this starts becoming cringe. Turns out 35 is not it. But we're all going to be hopping off the train at some point. But the train doesn't stop. There's still going to be things going on. It seems to be all but confirmed that there is going to be a season 2 of this thing as well. So that train's not stopping. Just keep chugging along. Moonlight appears to still be a thing. I haven't seen any... We're calling it after this one. If Moonlight disbands, we might as well just like, okay, are there brakes on this train? Maybe we just stop at the next station and like reload on supplies or something like that. I don't know. Their appeal is the appeal of Moonlight, though, is the teams that they play against. You want to see Moonlight go up against these stronger teams that have been traditionally seated above them, because you want to see Moonlight continue to be that underdog role. Nobody wants to see Batman fight Condiment King or Calendar Man. You want to see Moonlight versus FT win. That's become a great rivalry. You want to see them go up against the other heavy hitters, the Milky Ways, the Starburst of the world. And Moonlight needs them as well. If Moonlight wins MomoCon, who cares? They win Get On My Level. Okay. Who are you actually beating, though? I don't like Moonlight being the favorite. I like them being the underdog. And the teams that have been the favorite above them, if they start to slip away, that's going to be a disappointment for all of us. As a fan, you don't want Moonlight's first major moment to be, well, if that other team hadn't disbanded, they would have beat them there. You want them to go up against the teams that have been giving them trouble, overcome that, and get that big victory, which is what they almost did yesterday. It's just Milky Way was just too good. Just too good for everybody. For now, for today, the rest of the month, folks are going to wind down. Since the summer, here's what the scene has been like this summer. Here's what the train has been doing this summer. We started off with a super jump in June. And then the rest of the year, it was a Splat World Series grind, which led into the finals, which was a very painful finals for everybody outside of Japan. There was Riptide after that. And then the league happened, which went on for a long time. 2 more super jumps during that time. And also, don't forget, Sindo Finals mixed in with that as well. It has been... Oh, and also whatever that Freedom Dive tournament in July was. We could throw that in here as well. Random Monday weekly major coming out of nowhere that everybody signed up for some reason. It's been nonstop. These players have got to be burnt the hell out. And if they're not, there's genuinely something wrong here. And I think that plays into why a lot of these players are saying, look, I don't have a passion for this anymore. Well, yeah, because you're doing this every single week, especially if you're in college. Those Saturdays, I wouldn't want to say they were like taken from you. Like you made the choice to play in the league, but you want to win the league, and that means you have to play 5 weeks of this. And that's essentially your entire Saturday afternoon that you're devoting to this. On top of staying sharp for the super jumps and the Sindo finals and whatever else kind of gets thrown your way. Making sure you're ready to go to Riptide, which is going to be an entire weekend thing. It's a lot. It's a lot. And I think that's had a heavy toll to pay for a lot of these players to play in this. So I'm hoping for the rest of December that people just put their controllers down and just breathe and mentally reset for whatever it is that's coming next. There's nothing to announce with the next super jump. Obviously, we are looking for a new head TO, which, by the way, the applications for that are still out. If you haven't seen that, you can just DM me. I'll send it to you. There's the season 2 of this league, apparently. Nothing official on when that is coming back out. But are we really going to see a lot of these top players pass on that again? I don't know. I mean, I would hope that some players realize, yeah, we don't want to do this. Like that was a grind. We're not going to do it again. But then you see somebody else starting to win it, and you're like, well, I could beat those guys. I can't let them be the champions of the world. No, let's throw our hat into the ring. But I just hope the community as a whole is able to just take a breather here. But I do want to point this out. What were we talking about this point last year? December 2024. What was the conversation that was dominating social media? The scene's dead. Nobody's playing the video game anymore. There's nothing to do. Yeah, there's so many tournaments, but all these tournaments are skill capped. Anybody can make a tournament on Sindao.Inc. There's 50 tournaments going on every single week. There's nothing for top level players. That was 100% the conversations we were having last year. You guys remember that? We talked about it on the Popcast. We're not talking about that right now, are we? There's not enough tournaments going on for top level players. Mission accomplished. Maybe too much. Maybe we went too far, but I would rather there be too many things for us to be excited about rather than the thought of, well, there's just absolutely nothing. The scene is dead. And yes, as players start to step away, that doesn't mean that the scene comes to an end. There will be new players that rise up. There'll be new, and these new players, whatever the next best team isn't going to be the same caliber of level as Milky Way. You just can't. It's going to take time to reach that if anybody were able to reach that. And if there's another Splat World Series next summer, it might be even more of a bloodbath if it were to get to that. But the train's not stopping. And I think there's been a lot of fuel thrown into the fire to keep that train going for a good long time. And this is, by the way, being done on a video game that came out on a now older generation Switch 1 that we're making all this happen with. Of course, I'm saying all of this without acknowledging the fact that EU is poking their local overlord branch saying, can you guys do something? Can we have a League 2? Maybe just like a Turf War tournament? I'll settle for a Turf War tournament. No? Okay. Poor Europe. Poor South America. Although South America did get that one tournament many years ago where the prize was this giant bag of unripe oranges. You can't say South America didn't get nothing. But you can. Let's recap the week. Paddling pool number 349 is it's not notable. I mean, only 12 teams played in it. The team that won it is just a butterfly emote, so we're not going to spend too much time talking about paddling pool number 349. We are talking about paddling pool, though, because this upcoming Wednesday is a golden paddling pool. It's number 350. What happens during golden paddling pools? I keep forgetting every 50 tournaments, but there you go. 350 coming up next week. SOS number 210 took place last Wednesday. It was won by Yuki Aim. Duck Motif finished in second place, and Iridescent rounds out your top three. The duck train rolls on. Nothing is stopping the Ducks. I'm assuming they were doing that as preparation for the playoffs, but maybe they'll play in SOS number 211 and get second place in that as well. Hammerhead won by Jolly Fellas. Mako Bracket won by Tampico. And Lantern Bracket won by Mary Yalmus. Well, thank you. A very Yalmus to you as well. Triton Cup number 126 took place last Friday. It was won by Usagi Fan Club. Hey Man, and They Are Pigs took second place, and Horizon took home the bronze medal. 21 teams played in the Splat Zone's only edition of Triton Cup, which I believe there is another one this weekend, which would make it bi-weekly. I think they're going against the rules there. Usagi Fan Club might as well be a team at this point and not just a fan club, because they play and win a lot of tournaments. From the Ink Up number 93 took place last Friday night. It was won by Wallace the Goat. Vector Cry finished in second place, and Ephemeral Gravestone rounds out your top three. What the hell is ephemeral? I had to Google that, and apparently means a very long time. So it is a gravestone that lasts for a very long time. Isn't that the whole point of a gravestone? Isn't that kind of redundant? Maybe that's why they finished in third place. The NFL. Chargers double-limb the Chiefs 16-13. The Rams tame the Lions 41-34. The Vikings giddy all over the Cowboys 34-26. The Steelers have a mid-off against the Dolphins tonight on Monday Night Football. And that was your weekly recap. Sponsored by the Riptide Panda Bear. I believe we got this because we know the person who runs all of Riptide, and he got this for us for PJ. And why is this in my room and not in his room? I don't know, but I just looked down. I forgot to put down something for a sponsor, so we'll make it the Panda Bear today, the official sponsor of today's segment of the weekly recap. Why is my son leaving his stuff in my room? Is that always going to be a thing? Imperial means short-lived. That's not what Google said. Google will never lie to me. Lasting for a very short time. Okay, maybe. Well, okay, so a gravestone that doesn't last very long. That still doesn't make any sense. What do you expect? Okay. So, yes, the playoffs happened. Blah, blah, blah. Who cares? It's all about low ink, baby. Now, this was a small low ink, which was to be expected. There's college finals going on. The playoffs viewership is obviously going to cripple things, but it's not like the teams played in the league wouldn't play in low ink anyways. So yeah, I believe this was Brush said this was the smallest low ink we had since December of 2021, around the time when Splatoon 2's life cycle was starting to get pretty crusty. So that's not like a cause of concern. There'll definitely be higher numbers in January. We wanted to do a December low ink anyways, just to get one in, just for the people that wanted to play in it, and we had enough that were able to do it. I love one Swiss group low inks because they're so easy to run. Although I didn't do much on like the actual weekend, that was more of the other folks on the low ink staff that took care of that. There was a noticeable amount of lag going on in this like not just one team but multiple teams. Or it's hard to pinpoint like who specifically, but it was even our streamer kept not lagging, but just having like random DC stuff. Like there was just a weird internet thing going on in that tournament. Now, I'm not going to go into a rant about why we don't have lag rules, but we don't have lag rules and we never have. And there's a very good reason why we never will. And I'll just leave it at that. But yeah, I will openly admit, like, I don't enjoy playing in lag as a player. Like, it's super frustrating, but no, we're not having lag rules for an international tournament. Oh my gosh, that would be a horrible thing if we did that. But let's take a look at low ink here. Let's talk about the winners from the Swiss stage. First off, we're going to start with the Saturday night Speedle team, who went 4-2 in this tournament. Cowboy Vac Pop was one of the teams that they beat. They also beat Fish, the Evil Challenge, and the Runny Runners. I got to give a shout out to Saturday Night Speedle because they play in a lot of tournaments that don't take place on Saturday night. I do, but they did. They did. I don't know if they're EU, then this would have been Saturday night. If they're NA, this would have been Saturday afternoon. And regardless, though, they at least got the right day, and they made an alpha bracket. So nicely done, Saturday Night Speedle. What's a Speedle? Vivid Wave went 4-2 in this tournament, getting key wins over Wild Card, Sonata, Revengeance, and Rainfall. Back-to-back alpha trips for Vivid Wave at making beta bracket in October. So good to see some consistency from Vivid Wave. Karmeshi Colony went 4-2 on Saturday, getting wins over Insomnia, Vivid Wave, Rest in the Milky Way, and Div 12. You got to give credit to when you beat a team called Div 12, because that team, I don't believe that Div ever existed. The first alpha for Karmeshi Colony since April, and they've been playing in a lot of low ink since then. Welcome back to Alpha Bracket. The Brushaholics went 4-2 in this tournament, getting wins over Rainfall, Seven Seas, Octaves, and the Evil Challenge. Why is this team called Brushaholics? They're actually huge fans of our fellow head TO of low ink, Brushstrokes. They love Brushstrokes, so they are Brushaholics, and thus named the team after them. You know, there's been a lot of Popgun themed teams. There's been one JPEG themed team. No Hoenn Hero themed teams. But I'm glad that Brush has finally got a team named exclusively after him. The Coalition went 5-1 in this tournament, getting wins over For Honor, Citronelle, Los de la Peso, Starfish, and Brushaholics. That's really rough. There's a French word in there followed by a Spanish word, and I butchered both of them. Beta brackets is what we saw in November for the Coalition, and this time around they got Alpha Bracket. Their team logo is an avocado and a koala bear giving each other like the arm wrestling, we agree with each other hand pose. What does an avocado and a koala have to do with... I mean, the Coalition is spelled with a K like a koala, but I don't know where avocados lands in all that nonsense. Polaris Ruins went 4-2 in this tournament, getting a win over Wildcard, Gas Leak, Nauticus. I wish I could read my own handwriting. And Div 12 as well. Polaris Ruins have played in 18 tournaments as a team, but this is their first time playing in low ink, and they made Alpha Bracket. Nicely done to them. The Evil Challenge went 4-2 in this tournament, getting wins over Feeding Frenzy, Payback, This Is Fine, 2 foot 2 bridge as well. What is the Evil Challenge? My first thought is that this is some sort of TikTok trend where you guys have like we got to do the Evil Challenge or whatever. So I Googled it, and all I got was the Evil God Challenge, which was I believe a philosophy theory, that like something that would be brought up in your philosophy class. And I was like, okay, I don't care about this anymore. So maybe they're just evil and they're challenging low ink with this. Well, they went 4-2. So, that's pretty evil. Citronelle went 5-1 in this tournament, getting key wins over Revengeance, Insomnia, Inkception, Hyatt, and Karmeshi Colony. Now they played Insomnia and Inkception back to back. That seems a little bit trippy, but they beat them both. Anyways, this is a French team, obviously, with French representation being made in Alpha Brackets. Nicely done to them. Div 12. How could we not give a shout out to Div 12? They went 3-3 in this tournament, beating Just Squidane, Straw Hats, and 2 foot 2 bridge. I can say, as a member of the Ludi Seating Council, with 100% certainty say that these fellers are much better than Div 12. I'll give them credit for that. How about that? Well, they went 3-3 in this tournament. They're knocking on the door, beating a From the Ink Up, by the way. If they've come close a couple of times, maybe they'll do it in a couple of Fridays. The biggest winner from Saturday is No Christ, No Bow. They went 5-1 on Saturday, getting wins over Polaris Ruins, XP Matters, Inkception, Bull Sharks, and Anarchy Stars. The only team to beat them was the One Santa Three Elves team. They beat them 1-2. And this is notable because the No Bow team had the highest opponent win percentage at 75%, which means they had the toughest schedule. In fact, nobody else was even in the 70s. And with the toughest schedule, they won 15 games and only lost 3. Not too shabby of a run for No Christ, No Bow No problems. A suspicious number of highlighted messages, and I guess Snaky Spool, it's the dancing fruits. They give the power to win. You don't have to yell at me. I'm Disney, but I can't miss Popcast. Why are you? What's the weather like, CKK? I hope it's nice out wherever you are. One thing I forgot to do. By the way, we might have time for like a quick take. Does anybody in chat have like a good take they want to say on the podcast? We might have like 10 minutes to do like a quick taking your call segment, impromptu. Leave a highlighted message if you would want to come on to the podcast for a quick say whatever. And if nobody does it, then we'll skip it. Or not skip it, we just won't add it. How about that? We do have a little bit extra time. Okay, while that's going on, where is this screen share? There we go. Why can I get this advertisement? There we go. Coca-Cola, an unofficial sponsor of the podcast now. Congratulations. That's great. That's great. We're taking a look at beta bracket here. Teams I want to give a shout out to. First, Rest in the Milky Way. This team also played in the Splatoon 3 North American League because they had the word Milky Way in it when I searched the word Milky Way, and that's how I knew they were in there. And they finished 4th place in this beta bracket. Keep in mind, there was not enough teams to run Gamma. And Rest of the Milky Way, they got 3rd in beta. Oh, no. They got 4th in beta. But this is their 3rd month in a row where they've made beta bracket. So hats off to Rest in the Milky Way. I guess whenever any of us sleep, we are technically resting in the Milky Way. And I don't think any human being has rested anywhere outside of the Milky Way. I'm sure there is life out there somewhere, though. I wonder how good they are at Splatoon. Rainfall is the team that finished in 3rd place here in beta bracket. Revengeance was the team that knocked them out here. Rainfall getting several wins along the loser's side. Several 2-1 wins along the loser's side before losing a Game 5 to Revengeance here. Rainfall has made beta bracket in 4 of the last 5 low inks that they have played in. Consistently making beta bracket. Let's get them up to alpha next month. Let's see if we can do that. Octo Express, we'll give them a bit of a shout out here. Beta bracket losers round 4. They get knocked out by Rainfall. They do get a couple wins on the winner's side of things. Shadow Legion, Inkception. Octo Express. The problem with Octo Express is we took Crab Leg Capital away, and they need that, as they stated in the lowing general. So we crippled them. We nerfed this team. Don't blame them for falling down the beta bracket. That's all on the TOs. We'll take the L for that. I'm sorry, Octo Express. And, of course, the shout-out to 2 Foot 2 Bridge, which is obviously some members of 11 Foot 8 Bridge that has made alpha bracket in the past, I believe. But I feel like they're lost a lot of feet and inches there to go from 11 down to 2. I think they're doing their math a little bit wrong there. The team that ended up winning this whole thing is Runny Runners, which is a team. Yeah, they got the 1 seed. That just means they were not like the number 1 overall seed. That was just the team that we put in first. They were in the group of teams that get put in first because we thought they would make alpha bracket. They probably thought they did as well. And all these teams in beta were probably hoping that they would have made alpha bracket because they swept everybody until finals where Revengeance beat them 3-1. By the way, Revengeance, who finished 2nd place in this, I was convinced that Revengeance is not a word because that sounds like a stupid word to be in existence. And apparently it's the title of a Metal Gear series game. So yeah, that's a dumb word. But I'm glad it doesn't actually exist, is what I'm kind of get at right there. Alpha bracket. Alpha bracket. Shoutouts to Starfish. I don't think I've given enough shoutouts to Starfish, but they warrant it here. They got a couple wins on the winner's side. Bull Sharks, no Crife, no Bow, and then they, dropped every game since then, but that tends to happen there when you go up against strong teams later in the alpha bracket. But Starfish has made alpha bracket 3 months in a row. They finished 13th, 7th, and 5th in that order. And that means that they're on pace to be podium in January. So we got to give them some props for that, because I haven't been, I don't think I've been giving enough praise to Starfish, but they are a consistent alpha bracket team that is getting better, so they deserve it. They even got a little star indicating that they are a Starfish. Now, why do they have a star and not a fish emote at the end of it? It seems to be they're more emphasizing on the star, and the fish is just kind of an afterthought. So be it. Octaves. Just a couple wins here on the loser side of things. They beat Bull Sharks 2-1. The Coalition, because I guess dancing fruit gives you power. Not enough power to beat Octaves, before No Bow ended up knocking them out. Octaves have... I forgot that the Octaves got 7th place back in August, back when there was 100 teams. So this is a former Alpha Bracket team finding their way back into Alpha Bracket. And shout out to Octaves, because they grind. They play a lot of paddling pools and a lot of Triton Cups. They play a lot of open tournaments. That leads to success in low ink. I can never say that enough. Payback. I don't know who they're giving payback to. I don't know like who did this team wrong in the past. But Payback paid everybody else back, I guess. In May, they finished 47th overall. In June, they finished 48th overall, and now they finished 4th. It's quite a huge sharp of a glow up for Payback, and maybe we won't give them 46 out of 57 teams in the next edition of Lowing. 3 Elves won Santa, the team that was undefeated all the way through. They were 6-0 on Saturday, 7, 8, 9, 10 matches in a row until they just kind of, well, in grand finals, I don't know why this happened. I'm sure like a player had to go or something, but they switched up their lineup and it just didn't work. The lineup they had out there just wasn't working, and I think they were in a situation where they just had no choice but to try to make that lineup work. It would have, I mean, I saw the vision. We all saw the vision as I'm commentating them. I'm just like, why are they not working together? Like, they clearly just didn't have the synergy in this grand finals, even though they had all the pieces necessary. It's just like, why are we not using this vacuum in conjunction with something else? Why are we not using the Booyah Bomb in the vacuum shot in different areas? Why are we stacking them on top of each other? I think that the couple losses just played into the lack of synergy that they were able to get with that they had over the course of the entire thing, because they look like they're about to run away with this. I mean, 2-0 Brushaholics. They beat Payback and finished 4th. They swept Polaris Ruins, and they beat Anarchy Stars 3-1. But I think that's more the lack of synergy that they had. Yeah, I think the lineup change that they were probably forced into doing played a role in that. But that's also not to take anything away from Anarchy Stars, who I believe they went 5-1 on Saturday. So they lost 2 times as well. Everybody that played in this tournament lost at least 2 times, but Anarchy Stars is the team that won it all. I love to see longtime players win low ink. And that's not to say that I hate it when like a random pickup shows up and they got like one player who's never played in low ink and they win the whole thing. Like, okay, cool, congratulations. But just me personally, I appreciate the players that grind through low ink and get better slowly over time and eventually get to a point to where they win it. I like that. It warms my heart, my icy heart. Now Anarchy Stars is a team. I look back through their history. They've only played in a couple low inks, but they also played as Anarchy Stars like in a distant low ink, like maybe last year or something like that. But this new version of Anarchy Stars, or at least this new consistently playing low ink version of Anarchy Stars, 2nd place last month, and I love it. It doesn't happen often, but I also do love when teams that play and finish 2nd place sign up and get verified through low ink again, and they actually win it. Because I don't like it when teams get 2nd place and then they just kind of fall apart and then they're just stuck in low-level hell forever. And they're just like, yeah, we can't get back. We were so close to being banned from low ink, and now we're just playing in like it again over and over and over again. Anarchy Stars, was on the path to get banned anyways. You can just tell by how consistent they're being in this tournament. So I'm happy that they won. And again, that's not me saying that I was rooting against 3 Elves, 1 Santa, but just as a TO who the purpose of what this tournament is, I think it's good for every team that wants to eventually win low ink to look up to Anarchy Stars and say, hey, there's an actual team that went through all the hard stuff and they were able to not do it. And that could be us someday. That could be me. Oh my gosh. Big, long highlighted message to do here. They said in chat that one of their players had to leave in 15 minutes before Grand started. They were upset about the ad read wasting time because they wanted Grands to start right away before this player had to leave. And then their sub was a big swig, one trick apparently. Yeah, we noticed that. I mean, I get that frustration. I totally get that frustration. But as a TO, I get the frustration of trying to get all these things that we have planned to plug in there. So, yeah, if I was a player in that situation, I would 100% be frustrated for sure. I'm not going to argue against that. That's a fair reason to be a little miffed. Okay, so we are not going to do a taking your call segment. Somebody did ask, though. Oh, good morning, Falco. Where was this asked? I'm curious about the lag rules. Is it because it's just worldwide? It is an international tournament. A lot of the times when people come to us and say like things happen, the problem with lag rules is it slows your tournament down to a crawl, because if you want to complain about your opponent lagging, okay, we need to see that. And the only way to see that is if you actually like clip it in the game. A lot of the times people will go through and they'll show us like, oh, we typed in the replay and we played through and we recorded the replay, and it takes them forever to get us that. And what they don't realize is the replays in the game are not an actual like recording of what happened. It's just the inputs being recorded and the inputs being like played out. Somebody more technical can explain it. But whenever you guys play a replay and somebody's just like flying all over the place or like teleporting, like ultra instincting around the map, that's not at all what actually happened in the game. That's just the game trying to recreate the inputs with the lag implemented. Yeah, it shows that there's clearly lag going on, but it doesn't explain what actually happened in the game. And it has to be like if sometimes the game just gets broken, like, hey, we're riding the tower and like the tower's not moving, or it's impossible to pop the Rainmaker shield, or I threw a power claim at the basket and it just spun and just fell to the ground, like it's impossible to score. I've been in lobbies like that before. So for things like that, yeah, like we would step in to do something. But if you just like when we're watching the stream and there's clearly like something's wrong with like those stream matches that we had, I think like maybe even grand finals, there was some stuff going on. What do you do there? Like, who do you kick out? How do you know who the problem is? We'll just do a speed test. No, speed tests give you a snapshot of what your internet speed is at that time. That's not going to say what it's going to be like when you get into a game. Speed tests do not work. So there's a lot of frustrating things that go into having an efficient tournament. And I understand playing against lag is frustrating, but we are never going to have lag. Well, maybe never. Maybe there'll be some point to where the game is just better. But this game is just rough to play. That if you had lag rules, our help desk would light up with every single time somebody got sniped behind a box, and they'd be like, yeah, no, and even like, no, I'm not gonna get too deep into it, but no, I understand the frustration of no lag rules, but we stopped having a lag rule, I want to say like 4 years ago. It was the best decision we've ever made. And people only complain about us not having lag rules. You would think that would be a constant complaint. It's not. It's not. We only have people complain about it like once a year, and understandably so. Okay, that's going to be it for today's episodes of the Popcast. Anarchy Stars is these goats. The greatest of all time. I think you have to be, I don't know if winning low ink makes you the greatest of all time. I don't think that's technically how that works. Z, you're a liar. If you'd like to be a part of the Popcast in any way, feel free to reach out at my socials below. Blue Sky at Popgun, Discord Popgun, YouTube at 25 Popgun, Twitch at Popgun25. No episode of the Popcast next week, but the week after that is going to be the annual Popcast Awards, and we'll be posting information about that soon. Yo, let's go. Oh, that is a 0, not an O. Let's go rate this person here. That works out. Get vaccinated, stay safe, wear a mask. Stay out of trouble at Disney World if you're there. And we'll see you guys in a couple of weeks. Merry Christmas. All that.